सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्धबोध्यं बुद्धिर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चितम्। So we are seeing the topic of pramana. Under that we saw the topic of prama. Under that we saw the topic of karana. Then objection is raised that in Vedanta Siddhanta there are 4 types of Chaitanyam: Pramata, Pramana, Pramiti and Prameya, and all of them being Chaitanyam. Therefore, they cannot be born. And if they cannot be born, then how can there be anyone to be a producer called Karanam? Something can become a cause only when it is producing something. But Jnanam, Prama, cannot be produced because Prama is a Chaitanya Rupa, Prama Chaitanyam. So how Indriyani, Indriya etc. can become the Pramana for Pratyaksha? When Pratyaksha Prama is in the form of consciousness, being consciousness it is Ajanyam, being consciousness being Ajanyam, there cannot be Janaka. And therefore, Taccha Chaitanyam Nityam na Indriya Janyam Tasmad na Indriyam Tat Karanam. Therefore, Indriya cannot be the Karanam or Karanam. For that answer was given that yes, what we are calling knowledge is Prama Chaitanyam. And Prama Chaitanyam has got 2 aspects. One is Vritti, other is Chaitanyam. From the standpoint of Chaitanyam, there is no birth of anything. Therefore, Indriya cannot produce this Prama Chaitanyam. Chaitanya aspect of Prama cannot be produced by Indriya. But Prama has got another aspect, the Vritti aspect, that can be created. So word Prama has got the meaning which has got 2 components, Chaitanyam and Vritti. And Chaitanyam cannot be created by Indriya, but Vritti can be created by Indriya. And in fact, Vritti alone is figuratively called or empirically called Prama. So for all practical purpose, Vritti is Prama. And for that Vritti, Indriya can become Karana. And therefore, Indriya is a Pratyaksha Pramanam. That statement is correct. Having given this answer briefly, now the author is explaining all these 4 types of Chaitanyam. Pramatru Chaitanyam, Pramana Chaitanyam, Pramiti Chaitanyam, Prameya Chaitanyam. And before going into the division, we had made it clear that really speaking, Chaitanyam is one only, one consciousness alone. But for explaining the phenomenon of knowledge, this division is made. It is only for communication purpose. Like I generally give the example. This rice, they take this much rice, and this much is for sambar, this for rasam, this is for curd rice. They do this division. So in a dress also, certain division can be there. So this is for upper cloth, this is But sometimes both are same, but still we will call one to be upper cloth, one to be the down one, dhoti one. So even though sometimes both are of same, it will sometimes be difficult to remember. So, but we make some division. So it is a division for explanation purpose, and also it is a division based on upadhi. It is a upadhi based, adjunct based division. It is not intrinsic division. Means consciousness as such is not divided into four types. Consciousness based on the upadhi is divided into four types. Like one person is working, so he is a manager there, and at home is father. So they say, father I should not be brought to the office. Office manager should not be brought home. Person is one, but still we have got this expression. Don't bring your manager I here. Your manager ego, don't bring here. You are here one of the family members. You also have to clean the dining table. You don't say I am a manager. So don't bring that. So even though person is one, but he has got different versions. Similarly, consciousness is one, but based on upadhi, this type of division is made. And this division is made for a purpose. The Shastra or the Acharyas want to explain how the knowledge takes place. And with that background, we see this division. Otherwise, we say, Swamiji, you are Advaiti, and all the time talk about division only. These 5 types and 4 types and 3 types and all that time. All the times you are Advaiti, and you talk about more division than Dvaiti, it looks like. It's like somebody keeps on eating, बोले तो भूख ही नहीं लगता है, so I am not feeling hungry. Whole day you are eating, when you lunchtime you will not be hungry. Just 11:30 you had a nice snacks. Some so 12:45, but बोले तो भूख ही नहीं लगता है. Some people they keep on sleeping and they say नींद ही नहीं आती है. Daytime they keep sleeping, including in the class, but they say don't get sleep. So like this Advaiti, it looks like that keeps on talking about division. 7 avasthas, So number always that. Never say one type. Always 2 types, 3 types, 5 types, 7 types. So here we need to remember that this division is not intrinsic. It is only based on the upadhi, based on the adjunct, based on the superficial factor called upadhi. And Pramatru Chaitanyam, yesterday we saw that our Pramatru Chaitanyam, this is a Pramatru Chaitanyam here. And so Antakarana goes out through the eyes, and one part of Antakarana remains inside the body. So here it remain on this inside the body. That which extended, that is called Pramana Chaitanya. And that which, already yesterday we did it, that which is covering the object, pura envelope kar diya. So that which is covering the object, that is called Prama Chaitanya. Prama, not Prama Chaitanya. This Antakarana, that which is remaining in the body is called Pramatru. That which is extended is Pramanam. And that which is enveloping this, say, circumscribing the object, pervading the object is called Prama. So Pramatru, Pramana and Prama. All these 3 are the divisions of one and the same Antakarana. And based on the adjunct, when Pramatru becomes the adjunct for Upadhi for Chaitanyam, then the Chaitanyam will be called Pramatru Chaitanyam. When this Pramana Vritti of the Antakarana becomes the Upadhi, then it is called Pramana Chaitanyam. And when this Pramavritti of the Antakaranam becomes the Upadhi for Chaitanyam, it is called Prama Chaitanyam. So these three are only these three upadhi based Veda. And then also Antakarana is one only. Only based on these, their position and the job, they are given three different names. So Pramatru Chaitanyam is Deha Madhya Vritti Antakaranena Avachinnam Chaitanyam. The consciousness which is conditioned by the Antakarana obtaining in the body is called Pramatru Chaitanyam. Pramana Chaitanyam means the extended part of the Antakarana. And it is extended part of the Antakarana is called Vritti Jnanam by this author. And here what do we mean by Vritti Jnanam? Samanyakara Vritti. This extended part of the Antakarana is Samanyakara Vritti. Vritti in general. And when this Antakarana envelops the object and it assumes the shape of the object, then it is called Visheshakara Antakarana Vritti. So Samanyakara Antakarana Vritti is called Pramanam and Visheshakara Antakarana Vritti is called Prama. So yesterday we saw that's the Vritti Jnanam. So extended part of the Antakarana, starting from the body up to the object, not including the object, up to the objects. That extended part of the Antakaranam is called Vritti Jnanam, otherwise called Pramanam. And the Chaitanyam which is Chaitanyam which is conditioned by this Pramana is called Pramana Chaitanyam. Alright. Then the next one is Pramiti Chaitanya. Up to this Pramana Chaitanyam we had seen. Prameya also we have seen. Full lies. Pramiti Chaitanyam. Pramiti Chaitanyam means the consciousness conditioned by this Pramiti. And what is Pramiti? The modification of the mind which has taken the shape of the object, that is called Pramiti. And the Chaitanyam conditioned by that Pramiti or the Pramiti Namaka Vritti, that is called Prama Chaitanyam or Pramiti Chaitanyam. Both ways it can be said. So Prama Chaitanyam means the consciousness conditioned by Prama. What is Prama? Vishayakara Vritti or Visheshakara Vritti. Earlier was Samanyakara Vritti. This is Visheshakara Vritti. So Vritti which has assumed a particular form, Visheshakara Vritti, or the Antakarana which has assumed the form of the object, Vishayakara Vritti. Either you call Visheshakara Vritti or Vishayakara Vritti. Both are called Pramiti. Alright, see, you can say one thing, that Pramana Vritti alone, when it is enveloping, it becomes Prama. So Pramana Chaitanyam, we can figuratively say, Pramana Chaitanyam alone becomes Prama Chaitanyam. Alright. But generally we keep this division. From the body up to the object. That is only Pramana. And when that is further extended, enveloping the object, that it is Pramiti Chaitanyam. And Prameya Chaitanyam is a contextual name. Otherwise, general name is what? Vishaya Chaitanyam. What is the Vishaya Chaitanyam? The consciousness conditioned by a particular object is called Vishaya Chaitanya. The understanding of our Shastra, our Acharyas is that consciousness is everywhere. Consciousness is all pervasive. But this consciousness can be referred to in terms of or with reference to particular Nama Rupa, which is called Vishaya. Like here consciousness is there, wherever a part is, consciousness is there. In fact, consciousness alone is there. But that consciousness is conditioned by, not really physically conditioned, for cognitive purpose, it is conditioned by the Ghata Nama Rupa. Then we call it Ghata Avachinna Chaitanya. And that is called Vishaya Chaitanya. Or Vishaya Chaitanya, object consciousness. And when we are using the word Vishaya Chaitanyam, we are not referring to these phenomenon of knowledge. Vishaya Chaitanyam name is given to the consciousness which is conditioned by the object. It doesn't refer to any phenomenon of knowledge. Whether knowledge is there or not, the consciousness conditioned by the pot is Vishaya Chaitanya. Same Vishaya Chaitanyam is given the name Prameya Chaitanyam when we are referring to that Vishaya Chaitanyam, object consciousness, in the context of knowledge. So Vishaya Chaitanyam, object consciousness, is given the title Prameya Chaitanyam in the context of knowledge. Without the context of knowledge, it is Vishaya Chaitanya. But when you are talking about this Vishaya Chaitanyam in the context of knowledge, then the Vishaya Chaitanyam gets the name Prameya Chaitanya. Why? Because the Vishaya gets the name Prameya. Vishaya is a Vishaya, the object. And Vishaya gets the name Prameya in the context of the knowledge. Pramayaha Vishayaha Prameya. So Prameya is a contextual name of the object. Object in the context of knowledge, it is called Prameya. Alright. So here Prameya Chaitanyam is the consciousness conditioned by Vishaya, the object, which is called Prameya. That is Prameya Chaitanya. And all these paribhashaha, technical terms, are done by these acharya who know the sampradaya, who know the traditional teaching of the Vedanta or Vedas. Alright, up to this we had seen. Now Pramatru Lakshanam. What is Pramata? Pramatru Lakshanam is the definition of Pramata. Pramata means knower. The word Pramatru, how it is said? The Prapurvaka Madhatu Trich Pratyaya becomes Pramatru, and Pramatru becomes Pramata, Prathama Vibhakti Ekvachan. Alright. Pramatru Shabda, Napumsangalinga Prathama Ekvachan will be what? Pramatru only. Maybe Pramatru. Otherwise, क्या होगा? Strilinga, what will be that? Pramatri. Correct. Pramatri. So Pramatri, but here, Pramatri, yeah. Pramatri, not Pramatri. Pramatri, like Nadi. Pramatri is Strilinga. So in Sanskrit, that is how it happens. That when a lady knowing is Pramatri. Small Mitra knowing, small Mitra, big Mitra. So when your friend is knowing, then it is Pramatru. Pramatru. And when a man is knowing, Pramata. थोड़ा जोर से बोलता है Pramata. Okay, that's by the way. This just to make the subject matter light. So Pramatru Lakshanam. The definition of Pramata is given. And now this this topic itself is Pramatru Lakshanam itself is a little bit involved thing. Now he said Pramatru Lakshanam is given in different manner in different Vadas. So generally in Vedanta we talk about three Vadas. One is Avacheda Vada, other is Pratibimba Vada, and the third is Abhas Vada. But we need to remember that all these three Vadas means theories or views, are given by all Advaita Acharya only. And since all of them are Advaita Acharya, regarding certain fundamentals, there is complete agreement. Consensus is there regarding these fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. In that there is no disagreement. So Avachedavadi will not say that Brahma Mithya, Jagat Satyam. Or Brahman is little bit Satyam, Jagat is also little bit Satyam. No. In that there is no disagreement at all. So Brahma Satyam, Jagad Mithya, all three will say yes, yes, yes. Then bondage is because of ignorance and freedom is by knowledge, yes, agreement. In that also there is no issue. And Atma is one only. Atma, otherwise called Brahma, is Ekaha, Advitiya Ekaha. In that also there is no disagreement. Atma is one only. And Atma is Paramartha Satyam, Jagat is Vyavaharika Satyam, otherwise called Mithya, that also agreement. But when it comes to the explanation of the appearance, even though Atma is one, that is the Paramarthika Satyam revealed by Shastra. But one Atma, how come it appears as many with the Jada Chaitanya Vibhaga, etc.? For that, there are different models given. Shastra doesn't talk about it much. The Upanishad, etc., he doesn't bother about telling that how one appears. He generally it will say because of ignorance. But the process, the phenomenon, full-fledged theory about the appearance of manyness is not given in the Moola Shastras. And Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gives some explanation, but he does not take any specific stand. Sometimes he supports one particular view. It looks like that Avachedavada is supported. Sometimes Pratibhimbavada, sometimes Abhasavada. So Shankaracharya ji is like father, or he supports all three children, because all are his children only. All three of our Shankaracharya Sampradaya only. But the later Acharyas, based on Shruti only, based on the Bhashya only, they are presenting three different views. And here in this, two views are presented mainly. One is Avachedavada, other is called Abhasavada. Avachedavada is generally attributed to Vachaspati Mishra. And what does Avachedavada says? First of all, let us understand the word. Avacheda means enclosure or enclosing. Both can be, Avacheda can have both the meanings. The Avachedanam Avachedaha or Avachidyate Anena iti Avachedaha. So enclosing or enclosure is called Avacheda. Vada means theory or model. The model of enclosure is called Avachedavada. And this Avachedavada takes the example of Akasha. And it will say, just as Akasha is one, but because of different many enclosures, Akasha appears to be many. Similarly, one consciousness which is limitless is appearing many because of many enclosures called body, mind, sense, complex, upadhi. This explanation, basically this is the explanation. The main explanation is this. They will have separate view, they will have some details, but essentially this is the view. How one space appears many because of many enclosures, pot, etc. Similarly, one Atma appears to be many jivas because of many upadhis. Gaudapadacharya ji also uses this Akashavat. Akasha example only he uses in Advaita Prakarana. So this Vada where Akasha is the example to explain the manyness of these Jiva, which are essentially one Atma. That is Avachedavada. Abhasavada is relying on the light example, light or luminaries example, like sun, etc., or any body which has got reflection. So Abhasavada means theory of image or the model of image. And this Abhasavada is explaining that Atma is one but appears to be many, and there is a Jada Chetana Vibhaga because of the presence of particular Upadhi and absence of particular Upadhi. And manyness is there because of Upadhi having the manyness of Upadhi. And their example is, just as one sun is appearing as many reflected suns because of the many water vessels or many water bodies. Similarly, one Atma appears as many because of many reflecting media called Upadhi. And Abhasavada has got one advantage, that they can explain even Jada Chetana Vibhaga. They will say where particular type of Upadhi is not there, that particular thing will be experienced as inert. And where particular Upadhi is there, that particular entity will be found to be Chetana, sentient. So this is Abhasavada. This Abhasavada is attributed to Sureshwaracharya, Vidyaranya Swami, even Madhusudana Saraswati, according to one Acharya, and of course Dishal Dasi. He is going to support for this Avacheda, this Abhasavada. Alright. And in this Avachedavada and Abhasavada, the Lakshanam of Pramatu will be slightly different. So now he is presenting the Lakshanam of Pramata in Avachedavada. Afterwards, in the 215, Abhasavada, not 215, 121, topic number 215. Abhasavada Ritya Jiva Sakshinoho Rupam, and Jiva refers to Pramatru only. So Pramata is defined in Abhasavada in a slightly different manner. Here, the 214, the Pramata and Sakshi are defined in a particular way. So with this background, we'll understand this Lakshanam of Pramata and Sakshi in Avachedavada. Avachedavada Ritya Pramatru Sakshinaha Swarupam Visheshana Lakshanam Upadi Lakshanam Cha. This is a title. Title itself is one line title. So Avachedavada Ritya, by way of the theory of enclosure or the model of enclosure, Swarupam, the nature of Pramata and Sakshi. What is the nature of knower? What is the nature of witness? That is going to be explained. And Visheshana Lakshanam, Upadi Lakshanam. The definition of the adjectives and definition of Upadi, adjunct, associate. In fact, sometimes the Upadi they translated associate. Anyway, whatever you translate, it will not convey exactly what Upadi wants to say. So finally, we better to say Upadi only. Alright. Now we'll see what is the Lakshana. Avachedavada Ritya Antahkarana Vishishta Chaitanyam Pramata Sa Eva Karta Bhokta Cha. So first of what is the Pramata in Avachedavada Ritya? Avachedavada Ritya means by the way of the Avacheda model, the enclosure model, Antakarana Vishishta Chaitanyam, the consciousness endowed with, qualified by Antakaranam, the mind, is Pramata. So Antakarana Vishishta Chaitanyam Pramata. The knower is the consciousness which is qualified, attributed by Antakaranam, by the mind. So qualified by mind or endowed with mind, the mind is called Pramata. Means what? It will be explained further that Pramata is consciousness, but it is that consciousness on which the qualities of the mind are attributed. Consciousness is seen to be endowed with the attributes of the mind, then the consciousness will be called Pramata. So Pramata is consciousness, but what type of consciousness? The consciousness to which the attributes of the mind are superimposed, are attributed. That is called Pramata. So Pramata is the Chaitanyam where the attributes of mind also are included. If the attributes of the mind are included, then Chaitanyam gets the name Pramata. And Saha Eva Karta Bhokta Cha. Pramata is a basic entity. Pramata alone becomes Karta and Bhokta. Karta means doer, Bhokta means experiencer. Janate ichhati karoti and bhungte cha. So knows, does, it desires, does, and then bhungte. So you know that there is a what is called particular item, a eatable is there, and the janati, then ichhati, I would like to have, and karoti, chalanadi, you go there, and bhungte, then experiences. So they saeva karta bhokta cha. Alright, this is about Pramata. So he is going very like systematically. First he presents in a very simple manner, Sangra Vakya. Then he will give very long, he will give a bigger explanation. First he, so that not to intimidate, frighten. So Pramata means consciousness endowed with the Antakarana, means consciousness endowed with the attributes of Antakarana. Now what is Sakshi? Antakarana Upahita Chaitanyam Sakshi. Witness is also consciousness, but that which is Upahita, adjuncted by Antakaranam, by the mind. So consciousness adjuncted by the mind is called Sakshi. Consciousness endowed with the mind is called Pramata. Alright. So here, Pramata and Sakshi, both of them are Chaitanyam. And both of them are having the reference point of Antakarana. The name Sakshi is given to Chaitanyam only in the context of obtaining in Antakarana. Here, in this pencil, Chaitanyam is there, but we don't say there is a Sakshi. The word Sakshi is used only in the context of this Chaitanyam obtaining in the mind. In the context of the mind alone, the word Sakshi is used. So here Chaitanyam is there, but Sakshi is not there. Why? Because Sakshi is the name in the context of Antakarana. Alright. So Pramata also is Chaitanyam, Sakshi is Chaitanyam. And for both of them, Antakarana are the reference point. Only difference is, what is the status of Antakarana with reference to Chaitanya? What type of role Antakaranam is playing? Based on that, this Chaitanya will attain the status of Pramata, Sakshi. Alright. Ekameva Antakaranam Pramatuhu Visheshanattvena sakshinaha upadhitvena cha bhavati. So he makes the difference, that how the difference, how his difference is made in Sakshi and Pramata. He says, Ekameva antakaranam. One and the same antakaranam, Pramatuhu Visheshanattvena bhavati, is there as the adjective to Pramata, and also it is there as Upadhi to Sakshi. Means Antakarana is the same, but when Antakarana is seen as the Visheshana to Chaitanyam, then Chaitanyam gets the status of Pramata. And when Antakarana is seen as Upadhi, then it is Chaitanyam gets the status of Sakshi. So we should not think that one Pramata is there and one Sakshi is there. Generally we think, oh, Swamiji said Antakarana Vishishta Chaitanyam Pramata Antakarana Upahita Chaitanyam Sakshi. So we'll have two. The Sakshi and Chaitanyam both are there. Really it is not so. It is only the status. What type of status you are giving. When you are seeing Antakarana as a Visheshanam to Chaitanyam, the Chaitanyam is called Pramata. When you are seeing Antakarana as only Upadhi, then Chaitanyam is called Sakshi. And what do we mean by Visheshana? The definition of Visheshana will be given. But in simple words, when you are attributing the qualities of Antakaranam to Chaitanyam, then Chaitanyam is Pramata. Chaitanyam is you only. So when I take all the attributes of the mind as my attribute, and I say, I am very emotional, I am very intelligent, I am very dull, I am dukhi, I am sukhi, then I am Pramata. Why? Because the attributes of the mind I am transferring on me. But when I look upon myself as the illuminator of Sukhakara Vritti, and Sukhakara Vritti becomes a reference point to indicate consciousness, but Sukham is not included in the consciousness in myself, then my status is Sakshi. When I say I am illumining this Sukhakara Vritti, Dukhakara Vritti, I know Sukha happened, I know the Dukha happened, then I am owning up the status of Sakshi. So Sakshi is not something you become, Sakshi you are. Only thing, Sakshi status you own up, then we call it Sakshi Bhava. So this is what the people say, Sakshi Bhava, how to do, Swamiji? You don't become Sakshi. People say also, you become Sakshi. You don't become Sakshi, you are Sakshi. But you own up your status as Sakshi. That is called Sakshi Bhava. So consciousness is Sakshi alone. Factually, consciousness is Sakshi alone. But ignorant people attribute the qualities of the Antakaranam to this Chaitanyam, which is Sakshi. Then the Sakshi is understood as Pramata. So that is the difference. Between Pramata and Sakshi, there is no physical difference. Only the difference is in your understanding. There is no two people sitting there, one Pramata, one Sakshi. Swamiji, I don't like Pramata, I like Sakshi. This both you are. There is no question of liking one and disliking one. You can say this much, I like to entertain this myself being Sakshi. That is correct. Because in Sakshi Bhava, there is Shanti. There is no reaction, there is no comparison. I am just Sakshi. So it is moksha sadhanam. But you don't say that I hate this Pramata. I hate Pramata. Why this Pramata again and again comes? That is not healthy approach. Even though we keep on saying that Pramatrutva is a samsara karanam, all this we say. Thodi galiya to dete hi hai, but we know that this Pramatrutvam is something superimposed upon me alone. And therefore, physical difference is not there, only cognitive difference is there. When you understand yourself to be what you are in the context of Antakaranam, you are Sakshi. When you don't understand yourself to be what you are and attribute the qualities of the Antakarana on yourself, you are Pramata. And therefore, Pramata and Sakshi are essentially one and the same consciousness. So that's what this Vedanta clarity is. I keep looking upon myself as Sakshi. But before that, one should have love for being Sakshi. Some people, they don't like. This is only this Sakshi is very bland. Which Swamiji used to say. He said the Zen master, no? You tell him, I love you. So he is a Zen master, no? So he says, I love you too. He will say, I love you too. He has to speak slowly and without any facial expression. So people say, Swamiji, Sakshi will be like that only. No, it's not that. Yes, there will not be the jubilant mood will not be there. Jumping, etc. will not be there. But there are feelings. It doesn't mean the person who has got Sakshi Bhava will not have any feelings. But he will appreciate himself to be the Sakshi of those feelings. Even though momentary Pramatrutva status comes, but background understanding is I am Sakshi. Alright. So one has to have enough Vairagya for Pramatrutva based Bhoga. If Pramatrutva based Bhoga you are so much obsessed with, then Sakshi Bhava cannot be sustained. It is not possible. Therefore, first Vairagyam should be there. No, Swamiji, I don't like to be a sugar crystal. I like to enjoy sugar crystal. People say that. Then this Sakshi Bhava doesn't happen. One has to have that Vairagya for the Bhoga based on Pramatrutva. Then Sakshi Bhava can be appreciated and sustained. Visheshana Lakshanam. First, now he gives the definition of Visheshana. Vastu Swarupe Yasya Praveshaha Asti Tadrisham Vyavartakam Vastu Visheshana Miti Uchyate. Achha, this is based on Vedanta Paribhasha and the text like that. What is the definition of Visheshana? He said, Yasya Praveshaha Asti, whose entry is there in the nature of the main entity. Tadrisham, such Vyavartakam, distinguishing Vastu, thing, is called Visheshanam, is called adjective. Like, for example, he himself is going to give the example, Rilo Gataha. This pot, Rakta Gataha. This is a Rakta color, it is called brown. I will call it Rakta. Rakta also can be called, no? Like red, okay, you assume it is red. Rakta Gataha. It's not exactly, but this clay color is a shade of red only, I suppose.
Around red and brown.
So red shade, no? So red shade is there, therefore red can be taken. Rakta Gataha. Alright. So, when I say Raktaha Gataha, I am Raktaha Gata. Rakta means red. This is a red pot. Now, for red pot, red color is included in the pot. When we are describing this red pot, red color is included in this description of red pot. Therefore, red color will be called what? Visheshana for Gata. That is what is said here. Vastu Swarupe Ghate Rakta Ghate, in the red pot, in the nature of, in the character of the red pot, Yasya Rakta Varnasya Pravesha Asti, there is entry of red color. Means red color is included in the understanding the character of red pot. So Yasya Rakta Varnasya Pravesha Asti. Pravesha means Karyena Sambandha. The association with the main thing. Here Karya means the main thing is called Karya. Visheshya is called Karya here. Avachedya Anvaya Yogyam Karyam. The Vedanta Paribhasha. This definition is based on that. Karyena Pravesha. Don't bother about Avachedya Anvaya Yogyam. This much is enough. Karya means the main entity. So, any subsidiary entity which has got the association with the main entity and which is Vyavartakam, which is distinguisher for the main entity, that subsidiary entity is called adjective. Like here, Raktaha Gata, red pot. In that red color is intrinsic to the red pot. And red pot, red is distinguishing this pot from blue pot. Therefore, red color or red will be called Visheshanam. So, red is Visheshanam because it is having the association with the main entity and it is distinguishing this main entity from the other entities. So, Vyavartakam it is and it is entered into the character of the main entity. Visheshya, the substantive. So, the subsidiary entity which is intrinsic to, inherently included in the main entity and it is distinguishing the main entity from the others, that subsidiary entity is called Visheshana, is called adjective. Alright. Now, as if this is not enough, he gives now technical definition, Vedanta Paribhasha. Karyanvaitve sati, Vyavartakatve sati, Vidyamanatvam Visheshanasya Lakshanam. In Vedanta Paribhasha, this is Lakshanam given. What is the Vishesh? Same thing, but he puts in that language. Karyanvaitve sati. That what was said earlier, Karye Pravesha Asti, that is Karyanvaitve sati. So, Karyanvaitve sati means being associated, closely associated with the main entity and Vyavartaka, which is the distinguisher of the main entity and it is present along with the main entity. When the main entity is there, that also is there. That is called Vishesh Vartamanatva. So such secondary entity is called Visheshanam. So that is Visheshanasya Lakshanam. So the definition of Visheshanam is that which is associated with the main entity, distinguishing the main entity and present along with the main entity. That is Visheshanam. Let us apply in the red. The red color is Karyanvai. It is included in this pot, red pot, and it is distinguishing this pot from other pots, and it is Vidyamana. Red color is present when the pot is there. Therefore, it is called Visheshanam. So, red color will be called Visheshanam. Acha, now he said, what is Vyavartakatvam? So, he said, so Nishadaji is very compassionate. So, he doesn't take anything for granted. So, he said, what is Vyavartakam? Padarthantarebhyaha vivichya vastu swarupa vedakam yat tat Vyavartakam iti uchyate. Padarthantarebhyaha vivichya, having distinguished from other things. Like the red color distinguishes the pot from other pots, blue pots, etc. So, vivichya, distinguished, vastu swarupa vedakam, revealing the object, Yat, whatever thing which is revealing the object, tat vyavartakam iti uchyate. That is called the distinguishers. Vyavartaka means distinguisher. So having distinguished from the other things which reveals a given thing is called vyavartakam, distinguisher. Like red color is distinguishing the pot from other pots. And itarebhyaha bhinnataya yat buddhyate tad vyavartyam iti uchyate. And that which is understood to be different from the others, that is vyavartyam, distinguished. Iti uchyate is called distinguished. In this case, what is the vyavartyam? Gataha. So gata is distinguished from the others, is understood to be different from others. Therefore, gata will be called vyavartya and the rakta will be called vyavartaka. Now he explains Neelaha Gataha iti atra Gatasya Neelavarnam Visheshanam. Blue pot. So generally blue pot, I don't know, we use that Neelo Gataha. Somewhere they must be using in Navaratri they use, so they make all colors. So blue pot iti atra. In the expression blue pot, atra means here in this expression blue pot, Gatasya Neelavarnam Visheshanam. Blue color is the adjective for the pot. Why? Yataha Neelavarnam Neelagataswarupe Pravishtam Sat Raktapita Shvetadi Varna Vishishta Gatebhyaha Vyavartya Prithagimam Neelagatam Bodhayati Tasmad Neelavarnam Vyavartakam Visheshanam Cha. Alright. What he says? Yataha, since Neelavarnam, blue color, Neelagataswarupe Pravishtam Sat, having entered into the characteristic of the blue pot, having entered into the character or characteristic of the blue pot, Rakta Pita Shvetadi Varna Vishishta Gatebhyaha Vyavartya, having distinguished this blue pot from the pots which are endowed with the red color, yellow color, white color, etc. Etc. means Shama, black color. So Vyavartya Pruthagimam Neelagatam Bodhayati. So the blue color reveals the blue pot different from Pruthagimam is different. This different blue pot from all other pots. Tasmat, therefore, Neelavarnam Vyavartakam. Therefore, blue color is called Vyavartaka, distinguisher, and Visheshanam cha. And it is also called Visheshana. It is Vyavartaka and it is not only Vyavartaka, it is present also, it is an Anvai Karya Pravishta, therefore it is Visheshana. The Vyavartaka is the sub quality of the Visheshana. So Vyavartakam and Visheshana. For Vyavartaka to be Visheshana, it has to be Karyanvai and Vidyamana. Okay. Ghataha tu Parichedyaha. The Ghata is what? Parichedya, otherwise called Vyavartya. Ghata is Vyavartya means distinguished. Yataha, why? Pita adi varna vishishta Ghatadibhyaha vivichayam Neela Ghataha buddhyate. Why Ghata is called Parichedya? Because Neela Ghata, the blue pot, is buddhyate, is understood, having been distinguished from the pots which are endowed with the colors such as yellow, etc. In simple words, the blue pot is called Vyavartya because it is distinguished from the pots of other color. Yastu vivichya buddhyate padarthaha saha hi parichedyaha Vyavartyaha Visheshyam iti ucha uchyate. Now he is telling whatever thing, whatever padartha, whatever thing is understood having been distinguished from something else, that thing is called Parichedya, means condition, Vyavartya, distinguished, Visheshyam, substantive, iti cha uchyate, means all mean the same. Parichedya, Vyavartya, Visheshya, all of having the same meaning. Alright. So you may think that Nila Gatta alone is the example for Visheshanam. He said no. Dandi Purusha Ityado api Dandadikam Purushasya Visheshanam. In the Dandi Purusha, that expression, Dandi Purusha means the person who has got Danda is called Dandi. We have heard Dandi Swami. So a person who is endowed with Danda is called Dandi. The strict person, not strict person, strict person is generally strict person will have stick also. So Dandi Purusha, the person with stick, Ityado api Dandadikam Purushasya Visheshana is the adjective for the Danda, the stick, etc. is the adjective for person. Why? If Danda is not there, then we will not call him Dandi. Therefore, Danda is the Visheshana for Dandi Purusha. The Purusha who has got Yogyata for having Danda, for that Purusha, the Danda is a Visheshana. Why? Because for a person to be Dandi, he requires Danda. And when you say Dandi Purusha Gacchati, then Danda has to be there. In fact, that is one way of knowing whether it is a Visheshana. When you use some verb, then in verb that the Anvaya will be there or not. Generally, there are some exceptions for very hazy area. Generally, that is how we understand. Dandi Purusha Gacchati. So, Danda has got the Anvaya, the Gamanam of the Purusha. So, that is Visheshana. Alright. More we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna